Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Daily Dose. It is time to go a little bit off topic, I think, for a moment. Because, you know, one of the bigger problems with us is that I'm so pale my nose dissolves in too much light. So you don't get much whiter than Dr. Andrew Masmary and Dana Del Val. And so we could continue to talk only about addiction and stay in our lane, or we could decide that there are things going on in the world that until all white people decide that enough is enough, really isn't going to change. So I want to read something to you. I'm taking it from my friend Ann Casey's page, who took it from a man named Don R. Johnson, who took it from a man who wrote it named David Gray, who I looked, has a degree from UC Berkeley and now lives somewhere in Texas and is an African-American man. So this is from Don R. Johnson, a man I don't know. From new friend David Gray. I need to drive my 2-year-old to daycare tomorrow morning. To ensure we arrive alive, we won't take public transit. Oscar Grant. I removed all air fresheners from the vehicle and double-checked my registration status, Dante Wright, and ensured my license plates were visible, Lieutenant Caron Nazario. I will be careful to follow all traffic rules, Philando Castile. Signal every turn, Sandra Bland. Keep the radio volume low, Jordan Davis. And won't stop at a fast food chain for a meal, Rayshard Brooks. I'm too afraid to pray, Reverend Clementa C. Pinckney. So I just hope the car won't break down, Corey Jones. When my wife picks him up at the end of the day, I'll remind her not to dance, Elijah McClain. Stop to play in a park, Tamir Rice. Patronize the local convenience store for snacks, Trayvon Martin. Or walk around the neighborhood, Mike Brown. Once they are home, we won't stand in our backyard, Stephon Clark. Eat ice cream on the couch, Botham Jean. Or play any video games, Atatiana Jefferson. After my wife and I tuck him into bed around 7:30 p.m., neither of us will leave the house to go to Walmart, John Crawford, or to the gym, to Tshyrand Oates, or on a jog, Ahmaud Arbery. We won't even walk to see the birds, Christian Cooper. We'll just sit and try not to breathe, George Floyd, and not to sleep, Breonna Taylor. These are things white people simply do not have to think about. I've never seen it said quite so plainly. And if we are okay with this, then we may as well pull the trigger, in my opinion. And then I want to tell you about a post I read from my former minister, Rich Zeck, who I talk about all the time. They now live in Brooklyn Center, and he is the head pastor at the Methodist Church, or a Methodist church in Brooklyn Center. And so he's been updating us on how things are going for his family and his community. And he said yesterday he drove past a house with an African-American mother and her teenage sons, and the boys were standing outside the car, and the mother was combing the car. And it took him a minute to realize what she was doing. And of course, what she was doing was she was assessing every inch of that car for anything that could get those boys pulled over. So our question to you is, do you have children? Are you the parent of children? Think about that. Think about your child in any of these scenarios. Because I'm here to tell you that my child has never experienced that. I've never experienced it. Have you?
No, not that. I have experienced the exact opposite of that.
Which is what?
Believe it or not, I have actually been pulled over by the police a couple of times. One of them, I was speeding down Broadway, just. So I got pulled over. Policeman came out, asked me for my driver's license and registration, so I gave him to him, and he asked me why I was why he stopped me. I said I was probably going too fast. And then he went, "Where are you from?" So I basically gave him my life story. He told me about his grandmother being Irish, and then he didn't go back to his car like most, they do most of the time. I don't know what they do back there, play solitaire or something.
No, they check to make sure you don't have any outstanding
And
warrants.
then he didn't even do that. He just handed me back my driver's license and my registration and told me to slow down, and that was it. Now, I've told that story at a racism awareness seminars that MSUM run for faculty and students, and they are actually really eye-opening. And there were people there that told me of the horror stories they've been through in the local area, just in Fargo, into Minneapolis, even down into South Dakota, where they've been pulled, like someone's watched her husband, who was also an academic, get put in the back of the car in handcuffs while they checked to see what was going on. So it can't be ignored, and it has been ignored for so long. Even this weekend there was a White Lives Matter march in Fargo, which is just disgusting, and a lot of white people not getting the point. But before you despair, I will tell you something. What happened because of the tragedy that happened in Minneapolis during the about this time last year, and the trial that's going on, when the British football season restarted after the shutdown of the pandemic, the first 12 games, every team, the back of the shirt, the jersey, they took their names off, and each one of them just said Black Lives Matter, and they took a knee at the start of the game. They are still taking a knee now. The start of every soccer game in England, they take a knee to stamp out racism.
We just have to do better.
The Grand Prix. I watch two sports. The Grand Prix, which you think, oh, that's a very upper class game. Yes, it is, but it's very interesting to watch. You don't go round in a circle. They go off to the finish line at the start, just before the start of each Grand Prix, and every driver takes a knee as well to stamp out racism.
Yeah, we got to do more than write about it, talk about it, take a knee. We have to see change happen.
You take a knee in this country, you get criticised. If you actually
yeah, ask Colin Kaepernick how that worked out.
Why don't you go and actually download the lyrics to the Star Spangled Banner and the third verse, which not many people sing? Take a look at it, and then you'll understand why people are taking a knee.
So, that's the off topic. If you're watching this, you're probably white. I think our audience is almost exclusively white. Where can you do something?
There is a tenet throughout history of this is a tenet that has no bearing on science whatsoever. That apparently, some people say African Americans are inferior to Caucasian. It's complete rubbish. We are all the human race, Homo sapiens. Their origin is when they learned how to walk upright. Some of them decided to go for a wander and walked out of Africa through Ethiopia and saw what was out there. And of course, with the environmental change on the planet, depending on where you go, of course, you don't need a lot of melanin in your skin, so your skin gets lighter. Human race did crossbreed with some Neanderthals who were still knocking around. So a lot of white Northern Europeans have a stable mutation that allows them to drink milk. White people have brought that ability. It's called lactose intolerance, and he forced the ability to drink milk on other races or other parts of the human race that never had milk in their diet. So white people have actually brought lactose intolerance as a kind of a shunning to other people. Wow.
All right. That was our science portion of Daily Dose.
So that's how ridiculous it all is. We're all the same. We all have roots from the same part of this planet, and it is the continent of Africa.
Well, and I just say to you again, if you're a parent, do you honestly think those parents don't love their children as much as you love yours? Do you honestly believe that? Because if you don't believe that, then we have to do something. We have to do something more. And if you live in the Fargo-Moorhead community, read Tony Bender's editorial today about gun control, because it's a beautiful addition to this conversation. So that's that.
Also, I'd like to point out, I
guess that's not that.
I have witnessed in the last 4 years a place where no one is judged at all, where no matter what religion you follow or what colour or tonation of skin pigmentation you have, no one cares. And this would be the AA meetings I go to.
Hey, tell people what's happening Saturday morning, in case anyone needs to know.
Thad, who was one of our guests, sent me a text I'm very excited about. The Saturday morning men's group AA meeting at Olivet Lutheran Church is now going to be on at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning.
In person.
In person. And I am delighted, and I will be going back to that.
Do you suppose you're wearing masks?
I probably.
Yeah.
I should imagine we would be, even, because it's there's 8 or 10 people huddled around one of those 20 to 30 tables. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you are someone who has been hoping to find a meeting, in this case it's a men's group, but if the men's group is getting back together, it probably means a lot of groups
I'm sure
are.
the I think it's at 11:30. There's an there's a female group.
Those are called women.
Women. The
Anyway,
fairer sex, the lasses.
Nope, I don't care for the fairer sex. That's what keeps women down.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Oh, women. That's why we didn't get to vote.
I do apologise.
Because we were too fair to get involved in politics.
I did not know that.
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
I do apologise.
It's a 15-minute program, and we have a lot to talk about.
Well, that's fair enough. My
All
apologies.
right. Anyway.
Wow, the stuff you learn.
Yeah, it's so true. So that's the off topic. Here's the on topic. Recently, one of our watchers wrote to me and said, I'm not sure you shouldn't consider wrapping up. I'm getting weary of your topics and content. And it wasn't sent as a criticism. It was more of just a statement. And I considered it because I consider lots of ideas and suggestions. And I asked Maz about it, and he said, yeah, I don't think we should stop. And here's why we're not going to stop. Today, someone reached out to me to say this. This person had a friend call them yesterday and say, I think I have a problem and I think I'm ready to deal with it. Will you join me in my alcohol assessment appointment? Right? Is that what it's called? An alcohol intake appointment.
Yeah.
And this person who reached out to me went with their friend. And then this person said to me this morning, I wanted to text you yesterday, but I waited until today. I need you and Maz to help me know what to do next. I need help knowing how to be supportive. I need help giving this person the guidance that that person needs. Please, can you help me? That's our why. So let me say this. If our content becomes repetitive to you, if you are weary of it, take a break. Step away for a week or two. First of all, you can find it on YouTube. If you're so curious about what we talked about that you missed, you can go back.
Oh, and when you do that, please hit subscribe or like.
You've gotten so good at that.
I have. Haven't I? I could be an influencer and not even know it.
But I will say this to you. I love that you show up. We so appreciate that you show up. And our stalwart viewers, you know who you are. We so appreciate you.
Yes, absolutely. Bless
But
you all.
if you need a break, take the break. We maybe aren't for you today, but we don't know who we are for. So take the break. Come back when you feel ready if you want to. Share the content if it matters to you or you think it's helpful to someone else. Believe me, if you are thinking to yourself, I don't know anybody who's an alcoholic, just open your eyes and look around because you sure do. You sure do.
Yes. Just slightly going back, slightly off topic. I may be a 51-year-old white dude, and I don't understand hashtags, but I think I'm going to be using one in particular, and that one's going to be Black Lives Matter.
We will post,
especially for the next few days.
We will post the piece that I read at the beginning. Boy, if that did not make you realize the distinction between how people who look like us live
Dana
and
knows.
people who do not look like us live, then I'm sorry, you're a full-on racist, and I got no time for you. So figure out how you can be part of the solution, not continuing to be part of the problem.
Here's something quickly, very quick story. It's a guy I know. He stood up in one of our meetings, and I couldn't have been prouder of knowing this person, because he was telling about the fact that he's finally got a full-time job. He's finally got a job that's actually going to pay him. He got a job.
A living wage?
A living wage and insurance. He's older than me, and he was just so proud of what he's accomplished for himself, and that's just awesome. So if you can understand that you can accept a human being and just be happy for them, and then not judge them and think they're doing anything wrong, that's a good state to be in.
Yeah. So that's it for today. Tomorrow is a pre-record with Shannon Curtis and Jamie Hill, our first couple, I think, right?
Huh?
Yeah. It will be a great conversation.
It is a good conversation.
It is a good conversation. We already had it. But I think that you will really enjoy it. Jamie is a recovering drug and alcohol addict, and Shannon is working her way through codependency. So there's a lot for everybody to learn from tomorrow. Thanks so much for indulging us in going off topic and in reminding people of what our why is. We are openly sharing our experience with addiction so that other people might feel less alone.
Yep.
If you feel alone, reach out to us. We're right here. And if you don't need us or you're tired, take a break and come back when you choose to. You're always welcome, and we'll always be here. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.